Hey. I'll get this down out of here. Welcome to the recap. I am your host, Captivating Christian. Welcome to Cap Hill. And this is a recap of the week. Recap of the week in politics, mainly, but of course, entertainment or anything else you guys may have came across in either YouTube streets or the regular streets that I didn't even myself know about. So this is that show. So let's do the recap of the week. And I will put the invite also in the chat for anybody who would like to join on. Just remember to be respectful and keep it cute. But yeah, it's the recap of the week. Welcome everyone. Johnny Mac, nice to see you. Armand Jordan, nice to see you as well. It's sister, how you doing? Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day, the day after. So this is the day after Valentine's Day. So of course, everybody's probably, getting over your loved ones or the showing of affection and all that good stuff. Or some of you are still involved in it, made it a whole weekend thing. I'm not mad at you. I'm single, so, can't really. But I love myself. And so I actually wind up taking my best friend out for Valentine's Day. Just a little something I could do. But we had a good time. So I enjoyed it. And yeah. So what did you guys do for Valentine's Day? Anybody want to share? What anybody did? Did anybody just stay home and chill? Did you go out to the crowded restaurants? Or did you try something new and different? The chat's moving kind of slow, so bear with me. But greetings, everybody. Thanks for coming in. As you do come in, I ask that you hit that like button, though. Please. It'd be greatly appreciated. Hello, Deborah Lewis. How you doing? Welcome to the recap. This is the recap show of things that's been going on during the week. And of course, because it was Valentine's Day, I was just asking if anybody did anything special that they wanted to share real quick before we get started in all of this stuff. As far as political news, I believe the All-Star Weekend is this weekend in Chicago. So, of course, there's a lot of stuff going on there. There's a thing about the stripper that fell off a long pole, and she had a fractured jaw and all types of stuff. And the club, of course, is not wanting to pay. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I'm going to try and delve into. So if anybody wants to co-host, you can. That's why the chat is open. Other than that, we will go along with the show. Let's see. I was tied up all night. Oh, you went to work, sister? Yeah, I mean, and you treated yourself to a full body massage. Nice. That's definitely what's up. I myself, like I said, I just took my best friend out to dinner, and then I hung out at her house for a while. And we joked around and normally just talked about shows that we're watching, or she always tries to tell me to watch something new on Netflix, and then she winds up not watching it all the way, and I wind up finishing it, and then we can't talk about it because she hasn't finished it yet. So it's just crazy. Hey, Miss Travelocity 2.0, how you doing? I was up watching you, and I dozed off and disappeared. And I'm sorry, babe. I had to watch the rest of your live, definitely on the rewind. But the parts I did catch were very interesting because I so wanted to um, get your insight on that whole conspiracy theory with the Tupac and Biggie thing. I thought it was greatly interesting. And those of you in the chat, if you don't know Miss T Velocity 2.0, please give her a click, check her stuff out. It's pretty cool and interesting. And she just tells it like it is. She's a true talker. I enjoy her very much. Hey, how you doing, Nate? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. So let's just get into some of the recaps. So, of course, because I deal with politics mainly, let's talk about the political thing this week. Okay, so this week, President Donald Trump has continued his kind of payback. Every time I hear they talk about Donald Trump doing something in regards to people testifying against him, all I hear is James Brown in my head, the big payback song playing. So yeah, Donald Trump is still on his big payback. And not only is he on his big payback by removing people from Obama's leftovers, actually, people are not even Obama leftovers. I don't even want to use the term that they use. They are career professionals. Okay. So everybody in the different departments, as far as justice and the Fed and all these other organizations, are career professionals. So regardless of who's president, they still have a job and they work. However, what Trump is trying to do is make sure that everybody in every department basically honors him, will vote for him, respects him, won't talk bad about him. So he's trying to wipe all the places clear, which I think is definitely marching us towards fascism or some kind of alt-right kind of weird World War II kind of thing, which I think is absolutely crazy. But I mean, it's happening. The Justice Department, Bill Barr, the Attorney General, tried to, well, he didn't try, but he's interfering in Roger Stone, who is a longtime friend and help cover up buddy of Donald Trump. He had a sentence for 7 to 9 years given by the attorneys that was prosecuting the case. And of course, he wanted to hey, how you doing? How you doing? Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Sorry about that. Acquitting him would be the worst thing ever. Well, yeah, I mean, they're looking to chop down the sentence. That's the first bit. They're saying that the sentence is too harsh. There was even talk that the judge may not actually even have given Stone 7 to 9 years, but it's just the simple fact that it was on paper that they wanted to pull this. However, he hasn't pulled anything else. He's just pulling everybody who's been loyal to Trump and has gotten in trouble. So Roger Stone is one. Flint is another. They're looking into basically what I think is about to happen is he's going to acquit everybody and try to go on as business as usual. However, what did happen, though, is Trump tweeted that it was an egregious miscarriage of justice. And then Bill Barr went and pulled the recommendation by the prosecutors for Roger Stone, which caused everybody to start paying attention to like, hey, what the hell is going on? So that's what happened. So Bill Barr then this week calling out the president, basically saying, hey, I can't do my job if you keep tweeting because it's messing me up. He's basically saying, I'll do what you want me to do. Stop putting it on your Twitter so people know what I'm doing. Just let me do what I'm doing so I can do it. So, I think it's totally egregious, but there's no checks on this president. even if Congress was to pull him up again for anything that he does misconduct, he still has the Senate to back him as far as not taking him to task. Now, all the Republican senators who kind of in jeopardy with their seats right now, they came out and said, oh, I think he learned his lesson. And those who are retiring, oh, he's learned his lesson. He won't ever do this again. And he's still doing it. He's still doing it. He's doing it more in the open than ever because he knows that he does not have any type of check or balance on him right now. So that's where we're at. Yeah, I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did because he knows he can. And Barr is not going to, talk about him or go against him. They have an agenda, and the agenda is definitely, first of all, get everybody cleared who's involved in the Russia investigation. And then after that, go after and attack anybody who had anything to do with testifying, which I think that's an admirable thing for anybody to testify. I mean, they're going after Colonel Vindman again this week. President Trump wanted the Army to discipline Colonel Vindman, but the Army said no, they won't discipline him for testifying. So just going over some other, running through real quick. Talked about that. Oh yeah, there was a story in Georgia I did this week in my newsreel too. There's a councilwoman in DeKalb County City. She missed 2 council meetings, and they want to remove her from her council seat. Normally in their bylaws, it says that you can only miss 1/3 of the council meetings. The council meetings are held, I think, one every 3 months, and she's missed 2. Yeah, she's missed 2, and they want to remove her from her seat. So now they're going to have the judge actually decide on whether she should be removed from the seat. I think the whole story is a little deeper than that. I think there's something involving this seat and her seat in particular, the district and where she is. Somebody wants it for whatever reason, probably development money or something. I just think that that's a bit ridiculous. Like all these political officials miss days because that's just what they do. You're going to hear it during this election cycle about how many days this person missed on votes and how many days that person missed on votes. It's just something, we don't necessarily know all the time why they miss. They just do. They're not there for votes and other situations. So I don't know too much about the backstory about why they want her seat so bad, but the judge has not ruled on that case yet. But I thought it was interesting because when we start getting judges involved about public official seats, that's starting to get a little, I guess that caught my eye the most, because if we stack the courts with Republican judges or judges that are more conservative, not only in the Supreme Court, but in our local courts, we'll be looking for a big turn of events because that'll really bring a whole lot of different things. Hello. Thank you for coming. The other story, there was a few other stories. Sorry, I had them up on my computer, but it seemed not to be showing. So I'm just going to use my phone. So just bear with me 1 second, because I emailed them to myself as I do all the time, but I had them in a certain order. Let's see. And oh yeah, this story was interesting too. DC transit cops. Now, those of you in a major city that has some sort of subway station or thing like that, some of us live in rural areas as well, so we don't really have to deal with all that. But the DC transit cops, they were getting together and kind of creating a game atmosphere in which they were giving tickets and citations and and complaints and all these things. And the cops was having like a tally system, and the winner would win a $20 gift card to the movies. I mean, it was ridiculous. Yeah. I did get your email, Travelocity, about the glitch. I haven't. It's probably still glitchy. I still haven't figured it out because I haven't figured out how to use that other software as well. I downloaded it, but I'm still working on how to figure that out. But I did get your email. Thank you for that. But I guess I'll talk to you behind the scenes about that because I'm still trying to figure that out. So if you're not busy, if you can click the link later or whenever, and we can talk behind the scenes about it, that'll be great. Or you can send me an email about it. But I haven't fussed with it too much. That other particular website. Change seats, and they run for county without a legal representation. Yeah, very much so. But anyway, what I was saying about the police, so they were able to do it because the officer, their official, their supervisor was allowing them to do this. Of course, because it brings up numbers. It brings up, arrest numbers. It brings up ticket numbers. It brings up all these things. Hey, Wiggs, how you doing? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. So these DC cops were walking around in the transit system, giving people tickets. However, what broke the story is because they wind up arresting a 13-year-old boy, and it went viral. And so once the arrest of the 13-year-old boy went viral, that happened the week before last, that's what brought the attention to this story that came out this week. So, yeah. And I'm sure that mostly all law enforcement have these type of quota enticing games in which the officers who collect the most or give the most citations and things receive some sort of incentive. Because if you ever notice, around the first and the last of every month, if you're driving on the highway, you see all these state troopers and stuff, a lot more than you would normally any other time. So I think there's something to be said about that. But yeah, I thought that story was definitely crazy and something to take note of. So be careful if you do take the subways and do stuff like that, be careful and be very mindful that the harassment that you may be seeing or receiving. Why did they arrest the 13-year-old boy? There was no there's no cause unto why they arrested the 13-year-old boy. They say that he was littering or something like that, but the actual arrest went viral because of the way they handled the 13-year-old boy, which then brought attention to I guess somebody obviously must have snitched on the gaming system that they have created, and it was like 5 points for a whole ticket. No, 5 points for an arrest, and like 3 points for a ticket. Another point for something else, and I think 1 point for a report if you had to fill out like an incident, and it was something else. But all totaling, if you got these certain amount of points by the end of the month, then you would receive this $20 gift card. But it didn't quite specify what exactly the boy was arrested for. They say loitering or littering or something to that effect, but they don't really talk about what he got arrested for. And then knowing them, I mean, he could have just been being a kid in the subway and being a little unruly, and maybe they arrested him. So I'm not quite sure. And of course, they're going to put in the paper something different. So of course, it doesn't look like they just attacked this kid for no reason. Wiggs, you are a mess. You are a mess. God, you're too funny. Hey, Sunshine, how you doing? Talked about that one. Nope. Oh, yeah, I thought this was interesting. Did anybody hear about James Brown? There's a prosecutor in Atlanta looking into his death, and they think it's evidence of murder. Anybody? Put a 1 in the chat if you heard about that. That happened this week. That story dropped this week. James Brown died back in 2006, and now Atlanta prosecutors are looking into it. Atlanta prosecutors will examine James Brown's death after meeting on Wednesday with a woman who said that she was convinced that James Brown was murdered. No. Of course, the entertainer died at the age of 73 at the hospital in Atlanta back in December 25th of 2006. The death certificate blames a heart attack with fluid in the lungs. I'm trying to see if they say who the lady is that accuses that he might have been murdered. Investigators raised questions about James Brown's death when his third wife, okay. It changed too fast, Clough said. The patient, blah, blah, blah. Hold on. Just trying to skim through this real quick to see if I can see who his third wife is. Wait a minute. Did she die too? I'm going to have to find this somewhere else. This is CNN I'm reading it from, but I don't know. That's weird. Did he want his masters back? I don't know. You started bringing, once we started having a discussion and I started like going back and checking, it's been very just like, wow, yeah, a lot of people, a lot of artists that wanted certain royalties and things back are not with us anymore. But it was saying something about his wife, but as I was reading, I think they said his wife, his third wife, has passed too. Declined to open an investigation into James Brown. A full year had passed. It's not opening wide enough for me to. Well, I'll check on that and confirm that. But yeah, that was a CNN report. I said, oh, that's crazy. A lot of people, a lot of artists are just coming out, just dying. And you're trying to figure out like what the hell is going on. And then come to find out the record company or people wanting their masters or their works. You got R. Kelly sitting in jail after people knowing what he did before, and he having the backing of his record label's lawyers, he got off. And then this time, all of a sudden, all these things, these new allegations, of course, of the same thing, come back. So that's all very interesting. Hey, everybody. Welcome. Let's see what else I have here. No, I didn't want to talk about that one. Oh, yeah. And this week also, let's talk about, because I know most of you probably seen the live that I did earlier this week, but Joe Biden, a year ago, Joe Biden was around a group of Black leaders, religious leaders, and he said that in Atlanta, and he said that the problem with the African American community is that a lot of us don't know how to read and write. Of course, I draw issue with that because, of course, we do know how to read and write. And a lot of us do. Some of us not on, there are certain grade levels in which some of us can read, but to diminish and say, the problem with the Black community is that they don't know how to read is a bit much. But we do have to understand that he is, one of the other, and he does not experience or know anything about the Black experience, so he's speaking on bias. Once we separate that, we could go deeper into it and really, kind of pay attention to it, let it get you, because it should make you feel some type of way, but please don't let it make you want to sit out, because that's the purpose of all this. Like I said, a lot of other things are going to come out that other candidates, have said some other derogatory things, have done some derogatory things, and this is all to get you in an effort to just sit out. Because if you sit out, they win. If we don't sit out, they're gonna have to work harder to get his butt back in office, because one needs us to sit out, the other one needs us to show up. So the fact of the matter that they need you is important. What do I think about Susan Rice? Susan Rice is lethal. Susan Rice is lethal because she still has connections to the government. So in her threatening Snoop in the nice, nasty way that she did, that was like, remember, you still have things that you've gotten away with, or, not charged with. We don't want to have to come pulling your stuff back up. So I think it kind of put him a bit in line. How you doing, everybody? Welcome, Bird. How are you? I can't stand. Yeah, the generalized statements of a race can be disheartening, because it's like you're that old, you've seen so much that you would still think that even at 77, and granted, maybe growing up at some point in your life, maybe you did see something different, but to be at 70 some odd years old and to see all this progression to where in which your own president, your running mate, was a Black man who came out of a somewhat Black community, it makes no sense. I really don't understand that. All of these candidates have said and done things in their past, except one. Who was the one? Oh, no one is exempt. Oh yeah, that's true. No one is exempt. No one is exempt. Definitely in politics, because that's what it does. It brings it shines a light on everything. So, it almost makes you choose what you need to be outraged about. Almost like everybody's talking about selective outrage. It's not that it's selective. It's all about what you choose, what you find to be over the top for you. What's over the top for one may not be over the top for somebody else. So we have to always keep that in mind. And then just because, hey, read of Philadelphia, how we doing? Read the Heart of Philadelphia. Someone else to check out. Wigs, when they two get together, they're hilarious. But and if any of you guys want to come on, you can pop on. I'll drop the link in the chat so you can, if you choose to. It's your choice, no worries. But waiting for it to load. So like I was saying, yeah, it's just, it's really hard when you when you say, oh, it's only selective. No, it's not that it's necessarily selective. Okay. It's just, there are certain things that some people say that kind of get them like, okay, you're going too far. Okay, you're doing too much. Okay, you need to, tone that down a bit. And again, nobody's trying to change. Okay, no problem. Nobody's trying to change anybody. You can be who you are, but just at sometimes tone it down. You don't have to go so far. You don't have to. Everything is not about going to the extreme. And I think we take things and go extra with them. And then for what? Because then it makes you look, it just makes you look really bad. And people can't, and you can never redeem yourself from that. So it's like, even if you try to say, you know what, I've changed, I don't do that anymore, I've moved on, I do this, people will never believe you because they just see you as the stuff that you've done. So, you know, it's real, it's slippery when you're dealing with that. And I hit the link. Let me see. I just got a notification of a news article. Hold on one second. So anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns? Please. And I did not know something that I learned this week too. Myra Russell was the first Black woman to earn a Michelin star. I thought there were at least one or two Black women that had it, that actually was granted a Michelin star. But nope. Essence magazine article this week about Myra Russell being the first Black woman to earn a Michelin star. I thought that was definitely cool. Yes, Tree Versalocity, please go vote. Please go vote. Don't sit home. Don't please do not do that. That is what they want you to do. That is what they promote. They don't promote you going out to vote. That's why they start moving the polling places outside of transportation, public transportation access. And sometimes you would have to go down to the senior citizen centers, which are sometimes outside of town, to go vote. This is so you could say, I ain't going out there, or I can't get a ride out there, and not go. And check your registration. Again, last week, I know I talked about it, but it just popped in my head again about Atlanta, Georgia. The governor, he has to now turn over documents about how when he was the secretary of the state in charge of the election, how he was able to purge almost 500,000 votes from the rolls, which helped him squeak by, I mean barely squeak by, beating Stacey Abrams for the gubernatorial race. So, yeah, that is definitely something that I'm definitely keeping my eye on. Nothing new has come up of yet, but that will be a big ticket because that's a big win for Stacey Abrams and her team. So if in fact it comes down the pike that he stole that election, it's not going to look pretty, and he's not going to get a slap on the wrist like Donald Trump did. I'm very leery of the upcoming. Yeah, I am too. I can agree with you on that. I am very leery about it. You know, and I hope as long as we do our part that the right people will do their part. And if you need to pull it and investigate it and stop the count or do whatever you need to do, then y'all need to do it. And y'all don't need to wait until after the election is over and God forbid this fool is reelected or something. And then you want to talk about, oh no, he stole it after he'd been in there for a whole nother year and some change. No, thank you. Remember that the government is pulling out all the stops to discourage us from voting. Yes, they are. And they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop at all. They're going to make you question everything, make you think everything is a falsehood or I think so too. Tree Velocity 0.2. I think so. I think you might be right on the money with that. At first, I thought he would go with Kamala, but I'm not so much anymore. I'm not. Now, I will say this, that if he doesn't win the nomination, then Bernie Sanders is going to pick her. Bernie Sanders is going to pick her. He's going to put Buttigieg in his cabinet. He may put Kamala in the cabinet too. Probably even he might put Warren in charge of the finances. So he might put her in the finance department so she can do the banks and stuff. But I think it's kind of already, I mean, because for the most part, unfortunately, it looked like it's going to be a men's race. I don't. No, Callie don't like her. No, Callie don't like her, but it's that whole, kind of bridging that black vote with the white people that would feel comfortable enough voting for that. To me, anyway, it's my opinion, of course. Yeah, I hope they don't blow it either, man. I really hope they don't. I mean, pretty much it's kind of a slam dunk to not blow. I mean, the candidates can run on their own messages. And the DNC, instead of getting involved in trying not to allow Bernie Sanders to win or even get nominations to get close to winning the nomination from the caucuses and stuff, instead of focusing on that, what they should be doing is drilling all of this Trump's guilt, the stuff he's done, all of that. They need to be worried about that instead of so shell shocked about what Bernie Sanders is doing in his agenda. Because the same agenda that Bernie Sanders is talking about is the same thing that Roosevelt pushed. It's the same kind of why we have Social Security and why we have all these other social programs. So I really don't understand the big whoop. I mean, I do, but I don't. The part that makes them scared about him is the fact that everything is, oh, well, how are we going to pay for it? How are we going to pay for it? How are we going to pay for it? The same way you've been paying for it. Nothing has changed. You still pay for the same stuff. Even when they say, oh, tax cuts. Yeah, you get a tax cut maybe that first time, but that second tax go around, you paying for that first one. So always remember that. Joe Biden was talking doing one. Had a problem with him doing that, depending on who he picks for VP. Right. Yeah, I don't have a problem with him doing that either. But again, it does pick on who he picks for, who he has for VP. I mean, Stacey Abrams would be a good look. I mean, she did do really well in Georgia. I don't know. You can tell me in the chat if you think she resonated with you outside of Georgia, because that's the issue. It's not about a state running candidate can do well in the state, but they may not do well overall nationwide. Like Beto O'Rourke. It was like he came really close to beating Cruz, but outside after a while, it kind of died down, and it was like there was no gas. So I don't know. One in the chat if you agree, two if you don't, and if not, let me know why. We could debate on that. I think that's good. Hey Jay Parrish, how you doing? I hate to say it, but I think Trump is going to get reelected. I mean, yeah, if we sit home and don't do the work, he will. Excuse me. He will get reelected. But even if he does get reelected, my hope is we turn the Senate and we keep the House the same. So even if he does get reelected, there's not much he can do. And if he does step out of line, although he can't really be punished for it, he can be sanctioned. Like, he can't be impeached or anything. At least they haven't done it in history, because usually your second term is kind of you don't get no penalties kind of thing. You can do whatever you want. So that would be a first, but yeah, and then too, he possibly get reelected because what a lot of Americans don't like to hold a mirror up and say is that it's very racist here. No matter what the year is, no matter what how much we've ascended to a certain place, we're definitely very, 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 very racist. And people will hide behind their prejudices by secretly pulling the ballot, and then walking out and saying, "Oh no, I voted for so and so, somebody else," so they don't get the sting of racism of being a racist. Hold on one second. Sorry, guys. Dog. He has my neighbors have two dogs, and every time they go to walk their dogs, he must I guess greet them in his own way. But anyway, sorry about that. So yeah, I just I just don't like the fact that they do that. I think that, if you feel a certain way, even if it may be unpopular with everybody else, you should be able to stand in and vote. Like, stand behind your candidate. Don't secretly go behind the voting booth and vote for somebody different, but you're ashamed to say, hey, I actually rock with this person, even though, he's a blatant racist and bigot. So what's the deal? What's the difference? Can we start to go funny the assassination again? I'm not even and I won't even show that because I don't want the Secret Service or anybody to be knocking at your door for something silly. Yes, I love saving. She was cheated out of that gubernatorial race, exactly. But I agree with you, brother Nate. But I'm not gonna. Yeah, but yeah, she was cheated out of her race, and I think more people. There should be more of an outrage for that. The fact that he was the Secretary of the State, and the Secretary of State, runs the election. So it's like, why would you not step down? He refused to step down, and they let it go. They didn't push it or anything. And it's just like, come on. Yeah. Racism will always be alive and well in this country. It's here, it's here. It's pretty disgusting. It's pretty disgusting, but it's here. She said she wouldn't be number 2, but she will change her mind to get strong. Yeah, I think she would. I think she will change her mind. Especially because if he runs the one term and steps down, she will become the president, and there's nothing, there's no special election that would be held or anything. She will be the president for the next 3 years. So that'd be interesting. That would be interesting. It wouldn't be the first time president has served a one term. There's a few presidents, it's not one, that died after their first year in office, so they wind up and then one only served what was it, 1 day and died. So it happens. Yeah, she did do really good down in Georgia, but my whole thing is, will her charisma and her stance on different issues and all that, will it kind of project outside of Georgia into, places where in which her vote, voting for her would be meaningful to people. Yeah, it would be wonderful if that happens. Yeah. So, let me see. I just had one more story. I know I read that one already. Oh no, this one. Okay, so it's the last story because I was only going to be on here for an hour. Didn't really want to take too much time. So, of course, if you guys didn't know about a stripper that fell from a 2-story pole, I think it's 2 stories. Yeah, a 2-story pole at the strip club, and the stripper fell from the 2-story pole, slammed and hit her face, but got back up and continued to perform, but like back off the stage, and she fractured her face. She fractured her face, and she's trying to get compensation from the club and all that, and they're not having it. Oh, was it on Wendy Williams yesterday? Yeah, and they're not having it. So, I don't know. I think somebody needs to, and I've said it before, I've said it on the Gentleman's Panel, I think these things need to have some sort of union, some sort of something to back them and support them. She's really vocal and standing up against the fraud and suppression. Yeah, she is. Stacey Abrams is very vocal and standing up against suppression voting and fraud. Yeah, because I mean, personally, I think he stole it. Once he didn't want to step down as the Secretary of State to oversee the voting, then I knew it was a cover-up. It was going to be something there with that. Definitely. Yeah, she really kept performing. The stripper, she kept performing, but she fractured her whole face. Her jaws are wired shut now, so they can heal. Yeah, but they don't want to pay her, so they don't want medical bills or anything like that. And I just think there needs to be some sort of unionizing. Employment is employment. It may not be the grandest. We may not actually, a lot of us may not agree with it, but I mean, it's a loop. Well, for some, it's a lucrative business, and I think they need to have some sort of protection as workers. I don't think it should be so like, what do they need that for? For things like this, I mean, granted, nobody's telling you to climb up a 2-story pole and slide down it, but at the same time, although I'm sure they signed, and I hope there was some sort of waivers signed for that, but there still should be some kind of protection, I think, for the actual dancer. And some kind of union. They need to get together and do something, because that's ridiculous. Because even because All-Star Weekend is this weekend, actually, in Chicago, and from the Super Bowl, they had like a strip-a-thon kind of thing, and the promoters and everything, the whole event made $3 million, and the fact that the strippers actually only walked away with some 700 or even less than that is ridiculous to me. $3 million and you only walking away with that bit of money. It's very sad. She cracked her tooth too. She might have. It's a whole lot of stuff going on. She fell pretty. That was a pretty hard fall. Sprained her ankle, fractured her jaw. She broke some teeth as a result of the incident. Yeah, she broke some teeth. And the club has no plans to remove the poles as a result of the incident. As the exotic dancers are not full-time employees, they do not qualify for workers' compensation. Now, see, that's ridiculous. Clubs are only open sometimes during the after work kind of hours. I mean, there are some that's open all day, but the main ones like that one open at a certain time during the evening, probably like a right after work or lunch, and then on. But to say that all the strippers are part-time employees, so you don't have to pay them for such an incident as this, I think is egregious. That doesn't make any sense. I think, but again, if you don't, if you don't know what to fight for, you won't fight. So I just hope this brings awareness to the business, and this opens eyes to some exotic dancers that do this, whether it's part-time or full-time, to pay for or to whatever your main goal is, but that you protect yourself and make sure that if something were to happen, you can be compensated. I don't know. I just think that's just sad. I'll just. Oh wow. Oh, was it? Ooh. Wow. I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that. God bless. Ooh. I'm sure it was probably very painful. I mean, we take for granted too that when you're able to talk and eat and all that kind of stuff, and when you can't do that type of stuff, these psychological issues that and the trauma that you deal with, not being able to like fully eat or communicate, and being, I guess, inside for most of that time can probably do some damage. Mr. Credential, you in here still, or did you step out? Because that would be a good question for you, since you delve in with mental health and all that. That's really cool. Yes, and please check out Mr. Credential. He's trying to bring awareness to you guys about mental health, which I think is very important. And of course, the things that are important and positive, we don't shine a light on and pay much attention to, because it's not the mess and talking about somebody and dragging somebody through the streets. But sometimes I think it's always good to have a little positivity and a little, something a little more grounded in the stuff that we intake and view and watch. So definitely check him out. He's a good peeps. And not just because he's my friend, but because he's really dope. I mean, he's my budget friendly psychiatrist. No, let me stop. But yeah, we bounce ideas off of each other, and he's very thorough in his in what he does, and I think it's cool. Well, definitely, Wiggs, you need to hit up Mr. Credential, and he can definitely help you out with that. He has great tools and resources you could utilize. And, no joke, we all have moments of depression or sadness due to certain things, anxiety, and all these things. And as he is going through his journey with certain things, he can bring you along, and it can bring some clarity to all of us in the things that we go through. So I think it's good that we definitely pay attention to, what's going on with our mental selves. Oh, you're funny, Wiggs. Funny, funny, funny. Mr. Credential. I thought he was in it. He was in here for a second. He might have stepped out. Yeah, Mr. Credential. There he goes right there. So make sure you check him out in the chat. Oh, I know, but it's Mr. Credential is who he is. He does mental health and wellness. He does a mental health like check-in every Friday for the weekend to kind of give you a little tips and things to do to kind of, recharge and get started for a new week that you're about to embark on. I think it's cool. I utilize it. Yeah, taking care of your health, your mental health is just as important as taking care of your physical health. I know we take it for granted and we don't pay attention to it, but a lot of us suffer from some sort or some kind of mental illness, even if it's at times just when you're hyperly stressed or anxiety to that degree, depression. And it may not be something permanent all the time. It could just be a moment. But, in those moments, you need to find something or find someone to help you kind of navigate through. Prayer is good, but prayer without works is dead. The Bible says it itself. So therefore, we have to make sure that we're not only praying, but working. And in working, seek help if you need help. Seek medication if you need that too. It is okay. We have such a stigma of mental health in our community that we shun it. Oh, you crazy, and it's just like there's nothing wrong with that. So we're not to put a label on somebody having an issue that can't be addressed by the pastor just laying hands on you. That needs to be addressed clinically, that you actually need to go to somebody who is certified in that area to seek out more help. So I think that is very important. Hey, welcome back, sir. I was just shouting you out. Hey, Tanari, how you doing? So yeah. So yeah. That's it. That's all, guys. If anybody has any questions, you can ask now. If not, I'm just gonna hang it up. It's almost just about an hour. So that's all. I just wanted to come on and do my little recap for the week. Remember that the All-Star game is tomorrow, and Jennifer Hudson is supposed to give the tribute. She's supposed to sing a tribute to Kobe Bryant and his daughter. She'll be singing the tribute, so I'm interested to see how that goes. Hey, Fusion Gamer, how you doing? Thanks for stopping by. You have a concern, Wiggs? What is it? I'm here for your concern. Hey, what's up, Fun Noel? How are you? Best friend. Everybody's in the room. Great. I've known you for years. Wiggs, what's your concern, Wiggs? You said you had a concern. What are your concerns? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. So now I hope you feel better. Thank you for coming by. Let's send some prayer and hands up for Tanari. She's dealing with some back pain, and that's definitely nothing to play with. It's hard to function, move around, do your normal daily activities. So I definitely send up my prayers to you, praying God's speed and recovery and healing on you. So definitely, if we can put some praying hands up in the chat for Tanari, that'd be greatly appreciated. Yeah. That this will just be a memorial service type deal because they had already done And I think it should be. I think it was so abrupt that it should be private. Oh no, you're perfectly fine, Tanari. Don't even worry about it. I just came on just to do a quick recap of the week. That's all. Try to keep it going a little bit. But anyway, you guys, we have reached the hour mark and I have stuff to do, so I am going to get to it. I thank you guys for spending your Saturday afternoon, spending an hour with me. I appreciate it wholeheartedly. Love you guys. Enjoy the rest of your Valentine's Day weekend. Don't party too hard at your NBA All-Star parties if you plan to do anything. You said what? Cece, you know what's up. Bring your friends. Well, my other friend won't. He'll be here next week. My other friend will be here next week. I have a few friends in the chat. If they want to drop on the StreamYard real quick, they can. But I don't think they're probably not camera ready. But you know. Thank you so much, No Nonsense. I appreciate you too. Like, peace. So again, thanks everybody for coming out. My friends will be around later. They'll be here next week. So tune in next week. You'll meet some of my friends. I'm trying to get my female friends to come on, but you know, they have to worry about their hair and their makeup and stuff like that. But I told them they could just use the little avatar so nobody has to see their face. So, because I'm trying to get a whole different perspective. I don't just want it to be just all male or all, you know, whatever. But, you know, everybody has a voice, and I want everybody's voice and concerns to be heard because you may feel the same way somebody else feels. So, yeah. But all right. Anyway, thank you guys for stopping by. Have a great weekend. Enjoy. Be safe. Yeah, it's the holiday weekend as well, isn't it? Isn't it President's Day or something? So those of you who are off on Monday, I'm making this an extended holiday thing. So enjoy, have fun, be safe, and peace. That's all I got. All right, later.